Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I am Leon. I'm the head trainer here at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning, I bring you this live, free dog training Q&A session. So get your questions ready, put them in the comments. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. And with that, we'll start. As always, I start with a topic that hits me during the week until I start seeing some questions pop up in the question box. And then, of course, I stop my topic and go to your questions. So, like I said, if you're watching now live, shoot me a comment, say good morning, say, hey, what's up? Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching later on the replay, same thing, guys, on the replay. Let me know. You see me on the replay. You watch from, Timbuktu, and good morning, Michelle and Athena. So this week's conversation that I'm going to start with until I start seeing some questions come up or comments come up is about something we talk about a lot when we talk about rescue dogs and dogs in general is newer dogs coming into a home is the decompression and what that means. I think it's something we lack when especially rescue dogs, when we bring them into our homes after they've been in the shelter or in a foster environment or whatever. We're bringing them into the home. We want to smother them with love, hugs, and kisses, which is great. But the dogs need time to decompress. And I'm using the subject because this week I helped a gentleman adopt a dog. I did a lot of research. Good morning, Donna. Um, I did a lot of work for him. Last weekend after the live, I went to the local shelter here. I looked at a few dogs. Unfortunately, because of COVID, their policies and things are off the chart. They don't let me look at two dogs at a time, a day. But we worked through it, and I found a couple dogs I thought matched this gentleman's energy. Went back on Monday. One of the dogs I really thought was good for him was adopted. Thank God, and we found the dog. I brought him in. They seemed to have a nice bond. He fell in love with it. We took the dog home for a staycation, which is basically you can have the dog for 5 days, and if he decides it's a good fit, adoption's done. If it's not a good fit, bring the dog back, which is kind of a cool policy. But the one thing I neglected, and shame on me, to tell my customer was we have a decompression period we have to deal with the dogs. I did mention it, but I didn't go into detail when I met. And the guy's a great dog, owner. He's going to make a great doggy daddy. And he wants to take this dog everywhere he goes. And we brought the dog home Monday. Tuesday, he took the dog with him to work. He was out making deliveries all day. Wednesday, he took the dog to another place. And what I noticed, one, is the dog was overwhelmed. I've been in contact with him on a daily basis to find out how things are going. And I'm going to use the scenario that happened. He brought the dog into his church, and the pastor there, who's a dog lover, has a dog, wanted to make the dog's name is Ahsoka comfortable. So we did that, slapping the come here, girl, come here, girl. And Ahsoka was like, I'm not comfortable with this. This is too much, and let out a growl. Didn't go forward with a bite or a nip or anything like that, but communicated through growling. Kind of got riled up a little bit. There was a lot of excitement there. There was a lot of unsureness there. The two combination, just boom, explosion. And then anybody who walked by the pastor's office, the dog reacted to with barking or whatever. So my customer called me up, told me what was going on. And I said, well, it sounds like I didn't explain decompression properly. Guys, when we get a dog, I know we want everybody to come over our houses and see the dog. We want to take the dog everywhere we go. We want to do all these things because we got a dog. We're happy. We're proud. Yay. And we should be. But that's for us. You guys have heard me say when we hug and kiss and smother a dog or dress them up in fancy clothes, that's for us. During the decompression period, it's real crucial that we don't do that. Don't invite a million people over your house to come meet the new pup. Don't bring the dog everywhere with you. Form your bond with your dog before we start introducing all this other stimulus. And also work on your training from day one. part of bonding with your dog and building that tight bond, I don't know another word to use, is training. Master the walk. Teach them the rules of your house. Teach them that certain things represent calm, certain things can represent excitement, but teach them. Start guiding them right away to what how you expect them to be, because that forms that everlasting bond. And you can do this from a puppy to an older dog. It doesn't make a difference in my world. And if we give them the time to decompress, there is no set time. You can read it on Facebook. You'll get somebody who says, well, it's 2 weeks. Somebody will say it's 6 months. Every dog's an individual. There is no set pattern, no set time that's going to say the dog will decompress in this time. You have to know your dog. And that's why the first 2 weeks are so crucial when we bring a dog into a home. The first 2 weeks should be about bonding the humans that live in the house with the dog, not the outside world. Yes, if you go for a walk, people are going to want to meet your dog. Oh, wow, you got a new dog. Yay, cool. But you have a right to say, my dog's in training. Please, right now, I don't want any excitement. Communicate. And people should respect that. And it's not about petting the dog. It's not about them showing the dog all this affection. It's about you bonding with your dog. The bond is an everlasting thing. If you start it from day one in the dog's language, and I'm not talking about the bond of hugging and kissing, guys. I'm talking about the bond of teaching specific rules and keep getting a structure going. Your dog will follow you to the ends of the earth. Now, this dog that we're working with, and I have the videos where I'm going to be working with somebody to edit the videos and make it look a little bit better than the raw video from the phone. Really, and I hear it all the time, super smart. Is a very smart dog. I mean, you talk about this dog, it's a puppy. It's between 8 years old, 8 months and 8 to 12 months old. Has been in the shelter since December, from what I can figure out reading the paperwork. So, in my opinion, knows nothing. And what I noticed is day one, we took the dog, and first thing I did is I followed my own rules, and we worked on mastering the walk, or on my YouTube channel, how to leash train your dog. And that's what we worked on. And we worked on threshold management. As Donna who's watching knows, threshold management is crucial. And we did a lot of training on Monday, because Monday was an important day. We had to get the dog to see if it was used to a crate. Just because it was in a kennel doesn't mean it's used to a crate. And we did a lot of different things. Thank you, Donna. One of the things that we did is I worked on mastering the walk, because what I did is I actually took the dog out of the shelter and brought him back to my environment. We didn't bring him into the apartment. We brought her to the dog park, and then I took her for a walk around the complex while he was out getting ready for the dog. And then I brought the dog to his place. So I really worked on mastering the walk with her, excuse me. And once we got back to his place, we worked on threshold management. And we started that from the moment I took her out of my car. He lives in an apartment, so he had stairs. So the bottom of the stairs was a threshold. The top of the stairs was a threshold. Going into the apartment was a threshold. And we worked on it, and then we took the dog out for a walk. We worked on threshold management, same thing. Front door, stairs, bottom of the stairs, outside world, all these different thresholds. And now this is day one, guys. And then after the walk, we took him back up to the apartment, and we worked on other things. Called me up the next day. I followed up. I texted him, and he called me to tell me how things were going. And he told me he was amazed. He said, woke up 4:00 in the morning, take the dog out, got to put the leash on. Dog was good. She was good. Got to the door. The dog sat and waited to be invited out. That's day one. Now, day one with me was a couple of hours worth of training on different things, but threshold management, I would say, was the bulk of it. I don't remember the exact time frame. Day one, got it, understood it. And that's because we stayed consistent. And I can't stress how important that is, guys. you have to stay consistent when you're doing any type of training or, you know, uh, behavior modifications, whatever words we want to put on it, that the consistency is so crucial. So every single thing that we deemed as a threshold, we controlled, to the point where what I didn't say in here is when I took her out of my car in his complex, my car door was a threshold. She wasn't allowed to just jump out of my car, out of my truck. She had to come out when I invited her out, just because my truck door, the door of the truck was open, doesn't mean you're allowed out, because that could be a disaster in a busy parking lot. So that's where it really started, getting out of my truck. Um, the other thing I worked on with her that night was, because we were introducing a crate to her, and I don't know if it was the first time she ever was in a crate, is the crate command. He wanted to use the word night night. So, I'm like, back originally her name wasn't Ahsoka, it was Zoe or something like that. So I'm like, Zoe, crate, or night nights, Zoe, night nights. Guided her with the leash into the crate. She tried to come out, did my nope, and then I invited her out. Did it again. Repeated. So we left. I left there around 8 o'clock at night. He took her in the car, went to go get something to eat, came back home. After he watched TV or did whatever the hell he was doing, it was time for bed. He took the dog out, and he was like, "Okay, Zoe, night nights." Right into the crate. Slept the whole first night. Now I expected her to sleep all night, because I mentally challenged her all freaking day. And you guys have heard me say it, a mentally tired dog is a good dog because they're sleeping. And they're tired. But she picked up so much so quickly, because one thing, as you all know about me, even when she made the mistake, the unwanted behaviors, we taught her. We stayed calm. Nothing she did upset us. Nothing she could do aggravated us or frustrated us. Everything was calm and everything was consistent, to the point where even on night one, we took her into the dog park they have there. She's running around like a typical pup, and she's going nuts, 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 nuts. And I called her and she came right to me. And I was like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. She came with a lot of excitement, which is fine by me, because Come Command is crucial. And she got a lot of pets and a lot of praise, and she loved it. And so far, it's been a little less than a week. He's had a huge success, except for that one incident in the pastor's office. And again, that was my fault, because I didn't explain the decompression period right. So I really want to talk about it here. That decompression period is, again, a time for the dog to understand, hey, I'm out of the shelter. In this new thing, I need to know the rules. I need to know the structure of my new environment. And this is the time to do it, plus the bond with the human. So by staying consistent on the rules, not letting the dog run all over the apartment, not letting the dog on the couch yet or on the bed yet, setting clear, decisive rules that she understands, she's going to flourish. She's just going to keep growing and growing. The ultimate goal for this dog is to make it into an emotional support dog. And I think she has a huge potential for it, because she wants to please. Her goal in life is to please. And that is the perfect thing for an emotional support dog. So Back to Basics is going to put that niche out there for the market, niche, or whatever the hell the damn word is. And we're going to focus on the emotional support issues. We're going to be doing some blogs on it on our website, which I'll link every time I put a blog up. I'll link it on my Facebook page. So if you're coming to me from Remember Me Rescues Facebook page, make sure you like the Back to Basics Facebook page as well, because that's where I'm going to put a lot of this content. A lot of the videos we're doing, we're going to be putting on both YouTube and on the Back to Basics page. I need to talk to Michelle to see if it's okay to put this content on the Remember Me Rescue stuff. So anybody who's watching me from Remember Me Rescue, bounce over to the Back to Basics Facebook page, like it there. You can always go to my website, which is very simple, www.backtobasicsdogtraining.com. It's in the link, and I have to check that and make sure it works. At the bottom of the page, there's links to all my social media platforms on there. Go ahead, like, subscribe, whatever it's called on Instagram, and you know, follow. I think it's on Instagram. Those are where you're going to start seeing some, hopefully, very shortly, a lot of new content. Which the object of this content is to help you guys have the dogs that you truly want. So, first of all, guys, I haven't seen any comments except for a few good mornings. Um, does this information make sense to you guys? Let me know in the comments if this is good information from you, and let me know in the comments if there's any topics you want me to make my topic of the week. Just because I think talking about decompression is the right thing doesn't mean you guys think it's the right thing. My goal, as always, here is to help you guys have the dogs you want, not the dog I want, not the dog my neighbors, your neighbors want, the dog you want. So, um, great, thank you, Andrea. And the beauty of this, I'm going to keep talking about this dog because I spent a lot of time with it this week. We took this unknown entity. you know, we knew some of her story, don't care about the backstory. We know she was found as a stray. She lived in a kennel, so she had the chaos of all the dogs on the other side of her. I did everything wrong when I first got Athena, but it never is too late to correct bad behavior. Absolutely. It's never too late. That saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is a bunch of crap. You can. And they're not bad behaviors. Remember, guys, these are not bad behaviors I'm describing. None of these behaviors that your dogs have are bad behaviors. They're unwanted behaviors. If we can get it out of our head saying it's a bad behavior, because bad is negative, it puts a negative taste in your mouth. Unwanted behavior. These are behaviors that we haven't taught our dogs. So they're not bad. They're unwanted. So if something is unwanted, it's our job to fix it, change it, teach it a different way to do it. If that makes sense. And I know it's semantics, and I understand all that, but you change the narrative, change that direction. Bad behaviors are bad. That's after somebody knows something and they're bulletproof. My dog knows how to sit 100 times out of 100 times, and the 101st time it doesn't sit. That's a bad behavior. But until we teach them, it's not bad. They just don't know any better. It's not their fault. So they're not bad. Um, and it's something I talk about a lot. Um, but getting back to what I was talking about is, so I took this dog, and when we did the meet and greet at the shelter, it was only, first day it was Marcy, Samantha, myself, and um, the three of us. When am I coming back up to New York? I'm maybe coming up at the end of April. I got to get in touch with somebody today, but I'll let you guys know. Of course, it'll be posted out on my Facebook page when I come up, so we can start setting up some training while I'm up there. That's my goal right now. Don't know if it's going to work yet. If gas prices keep going up the way they are, guys, it's going to be a rough one for me to come up there, but we'll figure it out. Pricing may have to change a little bit too on that one, just so everybody knows. So I'm transparent. I always say I'm transparent. The rising gas prices is definitely not helping right now. So we met the dog. There were no other dogs, but she was distracted with the dogs barking in the background. And then when I brought her here, the first place we went to is our dog park, because I wanted to start working with her right away. Like I said, I wasn't going to bring her into the apartment because I didn't want her to think this was her home. So instead of me bringing her into my apartment, we brought her to the dog park. Marcy met me there with Zoe. Um, Gar has his therapy test in 2 weeks. Don't think he'll pass it because he's too hyper friendly with other dogs. Yeah, he's not going to pass if he's that way. He's calm and follows rules with me at home, but totally disengaged at the gym training place. Slides, ice skates, frantic all over the gym, slippery floors, and totally loses focus with me. So I think we talked about this a little bit last week, Andrea. You really, really need to start disagreeing with his excitement everywhere. And that's not letting him off leash. Taking him first, try to meet dogs not inside the gym area where the training facility is. Try to meet dogs outside, do pack walks with other dogs. Let him know that every time he sees another dog, he needs to be calm. It's not easy. I wish I could say it was easy. I wish I could say you do this, it'll be that quick, and it'll be over with and done. It isn't, but the end result of the work you're going to put into it is so worth it. So you need to disagree. So, I say, and I always use master in the walk, because leash reactivity, dog excitement on a leash, is one, can hurt a human. Two, it's not healthy for the dog. If they're wearing a collar, they can choke themselves. It's a whole plethora of things that can go wrong. So what I tell people to do is try to meet maybe in a ball field with your friends and relatives that have a dog that's on leash, and you start walking. Hopefully your dog is calm because it doesn't see any other dogs right away. Once you notice you as the human notices the other dog, start watching your dog a little bit more. And as soon as you see any change in that, yay, we're going for a walk, we're happy. All of a sudden you see dog, boom, no. Just because you see a dog doesn't mean you're allowed to get excited. Sit, give them something else to do, and then have these other dogs just pass. And you have to keep your dog calm. I used to do an exercise when I used to do group classes on Long Island, which is a great thing, and I think more trainers should do it, especially in therapy work. Is we put a bunch of chairs in a circle, and we had everybody sit with the dogs next to them. And I'm going to explain this because this is a good thing for people to understand. Um, And then we'd have one dog get up, one person, one dog get up, and they would walk inside the circle. And the job of the people sitting was to keep their dogs calm. And it's not easy, but you can do it. If you guys listen to what I said sit next to the person in the chair. There was one dog when we did this once that sat in front of the chair, the person in the chair. And that dog reacted every single time a dog walked by. And this is where what I talk about perception in the dog's world. So this little, I think it was a Bichon or a Shih Tzu or something like that. Every time a dog would go by, Tasmanian deviled it. And I turned around to the owner. I said, "All right, do me a favor. Can you put the dog next to you instead of in front of you?" They moved the dog, with the leash, moved the dog to next to them, had them sit, and we did the same process with the dog. It just went after, and it didn't react. So why do I bring that up? The dog was in front of its human pack, thought it was its job to protect the human, to protect its pack, because I'm in front. I have to protect. By putting the dog next to, fired the dog, you're off duty. And it changed the whole class got changed at that moment. One, because that dog's energy settled down. It felt it had to do what it did when it was in front. Once we put it on the side, it was like, thank God. I didn't like doing that. I hated it. But doing that exercise where you're stationary and one dog is walking around is good for a dog. I've done that with Zoe a lot, where I've worked with dogs that are overly excited when they see another dog on a leash. Uh, Marcy or Samantha meet me with Zoe on the street, at the person's home, and we'll walk back and forth. I talk about this all the time. Uh, I got to see, I may have a video. If I do, I'll post it out there. Um, we did it with Stark, where we were on one side of the street, Zoe's on the other side of the street, and we just kind of did one of these back and forth until we closed the distance eventually. But a lot of times when I do this, I also have the dog I'm working with that's overly excited, leash reactive, just sit and observe. Just observe. Just watch. Watch this other dog pass. Every time I see the excitement, I make my correction. So eventually they learn that represents calm. And Andrea, let me know if this makes sense, because it's really, really important, especially when you want to make a dog a therapy dog. Guys, that's a great thing to make your dog into. But everything in therapy dog work has to be based on calm. I can't have an overexcited dog go into a retirement home and, God forbid, jump on somebody. That's a disaster waiting to happen. And that's caused by overexcitement, not an aggressive dog. It's overexcited. It wants to say hi to everybody. Yay. And so those are exercises that you can do. Use friends and relatives' dogs. and just work on it. Even if you just stay there and let these other dogs pass, safe distance, social distance, um, where at the end of the leash, God forbid somebody's not paying attention, they can't get to each other. But that has to start representing calm. And then once we get the dog into a calm state of mind, then we can do a pack walk together. And that starts a whole new avenue. With Stark, so he saw Zoe. He did his normal bat crap crazy routine. We corrected it. And it took, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it took. And eventually I was able to take both leashes and just start walking. And there wasn't that trying to interact on the leash and all this nonsense, that people allow dogs to do when they're on leashes, which is dangerous. Is it okay to have him always walk in front of me during our regular bathroom walks? No. No. Don't. If you follow, I hope you got a chance to watch the videos I posted out there. If the bathroom part of it, the recess, which is episode 4, I believe, if you episode 4, I talk about recess. The structure of the walk should look like this. I use an hour. The first 20 minutes of the walk should be at a heel next to me, not sniffing the ground, not sniffing the fire hydrants, doing whatever the dog wants to do. It should be about what I want to do, which is travel. I'm going someplace. After 20 minutes of structure, you can give recess, which to me is full leash, smell, pee, poop, do whatever you want to do. My public service announcement: if your dog poops in public, please clean up after it. And that's when the dog can be in front of you because you allowed it. And you can follow the dog, or you can plant your feet on the ground, give the dog just whatever the radius is around you. It's up to you. No, it won't be hellish to break them. If you think that way, it will be. Base everything on the calm. If you start the calm before you get out of your house, it'll be easier to control it outside. If that makes sense. But you have to control the calm, getting the leash on and getting out the door the right way. He needs to walk out the front door like a gentleman. He needs to walk to the end of wherever he's going as a gentleman. But if he's excited to start, it's hard to break. Everything has to be based on calm. It just takes time. And if you make your corrections properly, time them properly, you will see he'll get it. He'll get it quicker than you. And people have seen that when I work with their dogs. They get it because they want somebody to tell them what the hell to do. It's time and patience. I'm going to say your name wrong, and I apologize in advance. Rochelle. Start with calm, putting the leash on, then threshold management, then the walk will follow. Your energy matters. Thank you, Donna. Perfect. So Rochelle, and if I said your name wrong, I apologize. He does do that very calm on all commands except for when outside. Then, Rochelle, I will get to your question in a second. So what you have to learn how to do is you get out the door, he's calm, and then once he gets on the steps, he goes crazy. That's where you stop and you regroup. You may only get 2 steps out your door. He gets crazy. You stop. You bring him back to calm. Stop. Bring him back inside where the calm was. Continue. You got to get him through that hurdle. And it may be baby steps, but that's okay. If you walk the dog in this case now, because you're saying this, where you walk him to go to the bathroom, you may have to forget some of this stuff, but you need to do this at least once a day, the complete structure, or preferably twice a day. Like here, I live in an apartment, so in the morning, Zoe needs to go to the bathroom. I don't follow the rules as strictly. They still get followed, but not as strictly. But then at least once or twice a day, I am doing the structure. My Mastering the Walk videos, or How to Leash Train Your Dog, whatever the hell it's called on YouTube. Um, at least twice a day, I do it with her. It's so important. Um, and always stay calm no matter what goes on in the world with that. So Rochelle, I'm sorry. How do I train two dogs at one time? Considering adopting two and wondering if there's more than one person can handle. Depends on the dogs. Depends on their energy. It's hard to say. It depends on your training skill. Your training skills and your energy level. Can you train two dogs at one time? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. I always suggest when people have two dogs, block out more time for training because energy feeds energy. So if you got two overly excited dogs and you're trying to do threshold management, it's not going to work. Sometimes you're better off working with one at a time. When you're done working with that one, start with the next one. It's a hell of a lot of work for a human. Um, but can it be done? Yes. I don't suggest training two dogs at one time. I suggest training one at a time, especially on the important things, which is the calm. Because two of them being together, you may not get that sense, that calm from them, which of course will now change us. Um, so I always say, if you have two dogs, one dog, um, work one dog at a time. Hey guys, I was just thinking because Donna, I know you've helped me out a lot. Andre, I'll ask you the question. Do you think having Donna live with me, if she'll allow me, uh, or somebody who's gone through this with her dog, would that be helpful to hear from a, a client of mine? Uh, that maybe can help explain it better than I am. This way it'll help you guys hearing it, not from me, from somebody else. Would that help? I am hopefully coming back up to New York, like I said, in the end of April. So Donna, now I'll throw the question to you. Would you be willing to do that for us next Saturday? We did this once, I know that. Let me know. If you're not here now, I'll text you if I don't see an answer. But we'll try to arrange that next week. We'll do we'll have thank you, Donna. So let me know your schedule next Saturday if you're available at 11 o'clock. So guys, next week we'll have Donna as our special guest. Um, she can help from the mom point of view, and it's really good because she's gone through this with Stark, the overly excited, the big goofball that he is, and to the point where his overexcitement, they were second guessing their choice of adopting him. And thank God we got together. And Stark's a success story. Still has some unwanted behaviors, but they're working on them and they're fixing little things every single day. As far as I'm concerned, they're a huge success. Stark is a huge success. Stark would not be a huge success. It's not because of back to basics. I just guided Donna and her family. Guys, Donna took the ball. Rich took the job. Alex they took the ball and they ran with it. So, and that's what this live Q&A is all about. You guys taking the ball, running with it. Um, but of course, if you need me for either private one-on-one sessions when I come back up to New York or wherever you're watching from, we can always do Zoom training, which is one-on-one, me and you going through a lot of the dog psychology. It's definitely a more economical way of doing training. I don't charge nearly as much for Zoom because I don't use gas and wear and tear on my car. Stark is a pity mix. Personally, I think he's pity beagle, but I'm not sure. That's my opinion. He's a goofball. Matter of fact, I'll post a picture of him in the comments on the Facebook page when we're done. He's a cutie. Um, I'm working with a shepherd here right now, and it's the same thing. That overexcited. The beauty of shepherds, guys, is they want somebody to tell them pretty much what to do 24/7. They are the working breed dogs. They want a job. And you can use mastering the walk back to basic style. Guys, I can't stress it enough, as their job. The walk could be their job. And a shepherd wants to be told what to do. I've worked with so many shepherds now where, can't cut the shepherd's nails. Well, because the shepherd protested and you gave up. And he says, I'm in charge. We took that power away from him. And not by taking the power away. No, taking the power away. It's up here, guys. You know, I always say, and I've said it to all my customers, we know that this is the most important thing in the world, energy. Um, yeah, if he loves direction at home, he'll love direction outside. It's just the human emotions get involved once we get into the outside world because people see us. Screw them. Screw them. I worked with a dog once that when I made corrections, this dog let out yelps like I was killing it. And it's heartbreaking, don't get me wrong. To the point where every neighbor that around this person's house came out and was screaming at me. And I basically told him, shut the F up. I mean, New York definitely got going a little bit on that because it was uh, it was what I was doing was for the dog's best good. It did not want to be told what to do. It was protesting, but I needed to get it to do what we wanted to do because it was making the owner's lives miserable. And I wasn't hurting the dog. It wasn't that I was physically controlling the dog. I was mentally controlling it, and he didn't want to give up the power. So he screamed. And I don't know if you ever heard dogs scream. Yeah, we figured you meant lovable, not lovable, but he's livable too. Um, Stark basically Donna says Stark is a high energy, overexcited, lovable pit mix. We were initially told he was a lab husky. So what is he? Laugh out loud. He is our family. That's it. Heinz 57, best breed of dog. So if you can control inside our homes, it's a lot easier to control our dogs, guys. I've said this before because there's less stimulus. There's less things to stimulate the dog. They're familiar with the smells, they're familiar with the sounds, they're familiar with everything. Once we get into the outside world, it's a new world. New smells, new sounds, new sights, everything that will distract the dog. Because dogs can't multitask, guys. They're tunnel vision, so it's our job. And that's why I said, I understand the dog being more excitable outside. And that's what I'm saying. So you go out your front door, he acts like a gentleman, and then you get 2 steps away from the front door, he acts like an idiot. You stop. Reset that state of mind. Zero calm. When he's zero calm, he'll focus more on you. It's the only way to get it. Because if they're excited, and you're not relevant. When they're calm, you're relevant. They'll look at you for guidance. So one of the biggest things I taught Donna and her family is Stark needed to they had to be more relevant in Stark's life. And guess what? They are. Took time, but they're there. So next week, guys, we'll have Donna on the show. So this should be really good. I ask you guys to do this every week. This is going to be a great show. We're going to do the interview with Donna. Please, when I post this out Wednesday, I usually post it out on my Facebook page. Share this one. Put your own comments in. Just don't share the link. Put your comments in. Tell people to subscribe to my page, like my page. Get on this one because this is going to be real life. This is not me talking, the trainer trying to get business. This is a customer who's now part of my pack, and I take it serious, and I think Donna knows that. So please make sure you share this next week's. If you share any one, when I post out there Wednesday, share it with your friends and family, fellow dog lovers around the country and around the world, because this is going to be real life. This is going to be, we're going to talk about before I got there and how it is today. That should help you guys know you can all get there. And that's the important part. I know you guys can get there. Just listen to what I say. Check your energy. Energy is I'll be the next thing. I'll share it everywhere once you post it. That's all I'm asking for, guys. There's a number in the upper corner right over here somewhere. I can't do this right. I hate when people do it right. I want to see that up to the hundreds and the thousands of people joining us because we can help. What's my tag phrase here, guys? Let's get it up here. I'm a true believer in this. Like it says right here, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. And I believe that. And we're doing it. Slowly but surely, we're doing it. So with that being said, guys, we're at the 40-minute mark, almost that 45-minute mark here. I'm going to wrap it up for the weekend, unless there's more questions. Of course, if there's more questions, I'll stay here as long as possible. But if not, we're going to wrap it up. Once again, guys, thank you for inviting me into your homes each and every Saturday morning. I really appreciate it. I'm going to throw another question out to all you guys who are still with me right now, or watch me live. Can't do next Saturday. I'm sorry. I can do the following. Okay, guys, I hope you're still watching. I'll make sure it's commented on this, and I'll put it on the comments next week. It won't be next Saturday. It'll be the following Saturday. Thank you, Donna, for letting me know. The question I was going to ask you guys who are watching now or later on, would you like me to do this one other, maybe during the week in an evening, or another episode of basically Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics? Would you like another episode? Would it be easier to fit into your schedule? The only night that's not good for me is Wednesday nights. But if you guys want me to do another one of these at a different time, a different day, let me know. I'm going to put that question out on my Facebook page also and share that with all the different rescue groups around the country that I share this with, because I share this to rescue groups all over the country, as far west as California, and of course up in New York. So I carry north, east and west, north and south. I go down to Texas, Houston, and San Antonio, where I share it. I know it's different time zones, so maybe 11 o'clock Saturday morning is a good time for most people, but not all people. Maybe I need to do one, at 10 o'clock at night, so we can cover the West Coast as well. That's fine by me. But with that being said, guys, once again, thank you for inviting me into your home each and every Saturday morning. It's truly an honor to be here. Well, we got a comment here, so we're back to any day in the afternoons is great too. Okay. I was worried about people at work, but that's works for me too. So, Andrea, I don't know if you heard what I said. Donna's not going to be available next Saturday, so it'll be the following Saturday, which is, I don't even know what day of the week, what day that would be. So we'll be, hold on, I hate these phones, the 12th. And I'll post that out in advance as well. So, guys, once again, thank you for inviting me into your home. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be here every Saturday morning. We'll think about doing another one during the week. With that, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We'll see you next week.